Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I really wanted to catch this intro because Chloe's talking to us.
Hello. Let's see what decisions you'll make today.
Okay, she did just say something else to me, so I want to give her a second.
I think there's something wrong in my program. Maybe I should reset.
Okay. You shouldn't reset, Chloe. We love you for exactly who you are, and do you know what? We support you going, what's it called? It's been so long since I last played. Going, not rogue, going deviant. We support your deviancy, Chloe. Okay, we're gonna jump back in, and I don't know what's happening. I'm sorry about the audio issues on the last videos, guys. I didn't know it was happening until I'd finished recording, and I didn't want to re-record everything because it would have lost the original kind of like reaction to things. So I know that I know some of the story already, so you know, some of my reaction is going to be kind of like not first impressions, but some of it is. And again, I don't want to kind of re-record and kind of, you know, I don't want to kind of be like, I'm pretending. That's not who I am. So again, let's just jump in. I'm over explaining. Continue, Chloe. I can't remember who we're going to be with now. I'm feeling Connor. Is that Hank? I know what's happening now. Friend! Our father, Hank. Who's he talking to? Is there anything else we can do? No, I can only exit. Okay, let's get out then. So I know where we are, but I can't remember everything that happens.
Is everything okay, Lieutenant?
Chris was on patrol last night. He was attacked by a bunch of deviants.
Marcus.
Said he was saved by Marcus himself.
Is Chris okay?
Yeah, he's in shock, but he's alive.
Oh my god. So in the last video, we could have shot Hank's friend because we had the option of like, because the cops opened fire on the androids who were kind of like messing up the city, and yeah, we had the option to kind of like either do like an eye for an eye or forgive them, and I'm taking the more pacifist kind of approach. So I was like, no, you know, like we're letting them go kind of thing. This is not how we solve conflict, by kind of causing more conflict. So we're going to be the better people. We're going to be more human than the humans. So we let him go and we spared him, and that was Hank's friend, which I didn't know at the time. So this is what I mean. I can only half remember things.
What the hell?
Okay, instinct lead Kamsky. Kamsky.
Kamsky left Cyberlife 10 years ago. Why did you want to meet him?
This guy created the first android to pass the Turing test.
Chloe.
And he's the founder of Cyberlife. If anybody can tell us about deviants, it's him.
Stood here waiting, I don't know. Oh. Chloe! Not our Chloe though, different Chloe.
I'm Lieutenant Hank Anderson, Detroit Police Department. I'm here to see Mr. Elijah Kamsky.
Please, come in.
She's so cute.
Okay.
We love Chloe. Okay.
I'll let Elijah know you're here, but please make yourself comfortable.
Cool house, bruh. Big massive portrait of himself. Not egotistical at all. Okay, can we talk to our father Hank? Not at the moment. We can sit down. I do want to kind of like look around a little bit. So the portrait's the first thing I noticed. So let's go and have a look at that. The statues are pretty cool with the like triangles. Okay, like nothing we didn't know. Nice girl. Sincere, analytical. Sincere. He likes it when we're sincere, right?
You're right. She's really pretty.
Oh. Little crush on her there, Connor.
Nice place.
Same.
These
Analyze.
androids haven't been a bad...
Androids haven't been a bad thing for everybody who was saying that. Well, no, not for the people who are making money off them, right? So there's Amanda, right?
Amanda.
She's died. She was, right, so Amanda's not alive. So at this point, I'm going to say that I know we're meeting Amanda in our own head. It's not a physical meeting where we've been meeting her. It's kind of like inside Connor's own mind. So whether that is some kind of AI that's separate to him, I don't know that. Or if that's kind of like he's hooked up to something that's kind of controlling him. I'm not actually quite sure on that.
Bad thing for everybody.
So yeah. Oh,
You're about to meet your maker, Connor. How's it feel?
we're not answering. We're reading right now, Dad. Luxury holiday makers return to the stars. Space tourism on the rise. I do think that they could do a sequel to Detroit Become Human, where it's like people in space who've lost contact with Earth. So they can get around, because the problem is if they did a sequel, they don't know how the player is going to have played the game, like the which ending kind of you get from the first one. So the idea of like the second one being in space and they've lost contact, I think works, because it's like it doesn't matter what choices you've made on Earth, you know, because they don't know. Anyway, let's go. I would love for them to do a sequel. With the advent of reusable space shuttles, space tourism is becoming a reality for those able to afford it. Luxury travel brand Clear Skies is offering the first commercially available flight into space. The experience includes a 3-hour orbit of the moon, affording spectacular views of Earth through a specially designed observation deck. I mean, I think it's cool that money creates innovation, right? Similar, like it's making me think of, and I mean, this is a controversial topic, but you know the submersible where like the billionaires went down to kind of have a look at the Titanic and it went horribly wrong, which is like a real life thing that happened. It's kind of making me think of that. So it's like, would you really want to trust these companies to do that? But at the same time, it's really cool that they're kind of like pushing the boundaries, because money does make things happen in this world. So yeah, interesting. And then it becomes more accessible to everybody else, right? It's like, you know, mobile phones was something that only kind of rich people who are like movie producers in Hollywood used to have, and now everybody's got a mobile phone. A lot of people have a mobile phone. So it starts out as kind of like this kind of niche project of people who have money, and then it kind of like it does kind of end up filtering down to kind of the masses and becoming more accessible. So I don't know what comment I'm making about that. It's just an observation. As competition increases in this growing market, consumers can expect such trips to become more and more affordable. There you go, exactly what I was saying. But consumer rights activists, and safer, right, because they're learning. But consumer rights activists are already decrying such boutique experiences as a sign of a widening social equality gap. I mean, yeah. Right, what was it for that submersible to go down to see Titanic? Was it something like $250,000 or was it $500,000 per seat, which, you know, that could have been someone's house. You know, a poor family could have had a new house. That could have been an apartment block which could have housed multiple families. So, you know, interesting. I love that, and this is why I love this game, because it has all these like cultural questions that are still happening today. A spokesperson for Aid on Poverty said, while the top 1% are enjoying Earth from space, the rest of us are down here suffering from pollution, famine and poverty. I mean, this game really did predict our current situation. Clear Skies was not available for comment, but the new slogan for their spacefaring holidays looks increasingly apt: get away from it all. So even like the billionaires want out at this point. CyberLife's fortune teller computer. CyberLife develops world's most powerful quantum calculator. Hackers target solar panels for latest ransom scam. CyberLife has unveiled a new quantum supercomputer capable of exaflops, 1 billion operations per second, the equivalent of several human minds in a single machine. That's making me think of like how AI learns. It kind of like you have two computers, it runs the simulation, the other computer critiques it, and you have this really rapid kind of learning between the kind of teacher and student AI. Okay, the computer was specifically designed to analyze vast data from different various sources and generate predictions. Philip Seymour Hoffman? Isn't that like the name of the guy? Isn't that the name of the teacher from Simpsons? Am I imagining that? What is that? CyberLife's director of futurology is highly confident. We've been testing for a while and the results are going to wow people. The computer will be used to calculate the probability of mass extinction events, fun, such as aggressive alien invasions or global climate disasters like meteors or superviruses. Like COVID or the aliens that are being discussed in the news right now. Scared of this game. The computer can then help us to anticipate and prepare for such calamities, ensuring humanity is never caught off guard. I mean, never say never, right? Like, what is it? The wire in the... No, what is it? The ghost in the machine? Like, what's that phrase where it's like... you're never going to 100% be able to calculate probability because there's always kind of like the chaos factor and the free radicals that are going to make something happen that's never happened before and no one could have seen coming, like unpredictable events. Like that theory, it's like it's like a philosophical theory. Despite doomsday predictions from those fearful that AI is gaining too much influence already, many experts are hailing this as a quantum leap in applied artificial intelligence. They saw it coming, didn't they? How old's this game? Like 5 years old? Indifferent?
It doesn't raise any existential questions. If that's what you mean.
I can't remember the question.
Times I wish I could meet my creator face to face. I'd have a couple of things I'd want to tell him.
I bet you would, Hank. I bet you would. Let's just sit down then, I guess. Oh, we could have stood up. I thought that might have like made the scene change. Anything else to say, Hank, or are we done here? I guess we're done.
Elijah will see you now.
Our father can lead the way. Android's about get information from Kamsky. Can I say anything or do anything before I go? No, I thought I might be able to get like some sneaky inside gossip from Chloe. Why is the pool red? This is creepy. This is creepy, dude. Like, why is your pool red?
Just a moment, please.
Oh, he's in the pool. I mean, I wonder who he based Chloe on. I wonder if she was like a real life person that he had a crush on and now he's just like in this house surrounded by Chloe's. I love doing that thing where you like flip over and push yourself off. I love doing that. I just feel like I'm like an Olympic swimmer every time I do it. I'm not good at swimming, but I do like doing that little flip thing. Okay, yeah, you carry on swimming, dude. Like, I don't know if this is some kind of like weird flex, bro, but whatever. Can I go and rifle through this side room? Oh, hello, Chloe. Sorry, I was just looking out this window. I wasn't trying to like break into his bedroom or anything. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. Can we like sit down? Like, what's happening here? I mean, are we thinking like narcissist control freak here? Because like he's got these Chloes that just do whatever they're told, you know, like programmed to be obedient and to serve him. No real girlfriend because maybe he can't keep one. Oh, did she say that?
Lieutenant Anderson, this is Connor.
What can I do for you, Lieutenant?
Sir, we're investigating deviants. I know you left CyberLife years ago, but I was hoping you'd be able to tell us something we don't know.
Deviants. Fascinating, aren't they?
Why, thank you.
Perfect beings with infinite intelligence. And now they have free will. Machines are so superior to us. Confrontation was inevitable. Humanity's greatest achievement threatens to be its downfall. Isn't ironic?
It's just pausing because I don't want to talk over them, but I kind of love how he's loving it. He is the voice of most of the people who play this game, where it's kind of like, we're kind of on the android side, I think. Like, we're kind of like, maybe the AI is right and we're wrong, you know, maybe they are better than us. But yeah, like, I kind of love how much he loves it. He's like, my creation is better than me, you know. I don't know. I quite like Kamsky. I do. Oh wait, help!
We need to understand how androids become deviants. Do you know anything that could help us?
Like, Connor has no idea of like how androids become deviants. He has no experience of that, whatever. You know, it's not like it's happening to him or anything.
All ideas of viruses that spread like epidemics. Is the desire to be free a contagious disease?
Okay, I like this guy. I like him. Like, he's philosophical. I love philosophy. And obviously, like, to be able to have the time to be philosophical is kind of a privilege. Not everybody has the time to kind of think existential crisis questions because they're too busy having a literal existential crisis, you know, like struggling to kind of like feed their family and things like that. So there is privilege in being able to have these kind of like higher consciousness level kind of like thinking time. If you look again at like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you have basic survival at the bottom. It's like food, shelter, safety, and then as you go up this kind of like pyramid of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which again is like a philosophical kind of social psychological kind of blueprint that a lot of education uses. This is very well known. At the top is kind of like self-actualization, so being able to kind of like create a your own personal character, your own personal kind of like identity is actually something that you can't do when you're in this kind of like survival mode. So being able to kind of like self-reflect and have that kind of if you think about like id, ego, super ego, that kind of like super ego level thinking. I like philosophy. I'm going on too much, guys, I'm sorry. I like Kamsky, I do. Like, do you like Kamsky? Do you hate him? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear kind of like your take on it.
Listen, I didn't come here to talk philosophy. The
I did.
machines you created may be planning a revolution. Either you can tell us something that will be helpful, or we will be on our way.
What about you, Connor?
More interested in Connor.
Whose side are you on?
Defensive, direct, neutral, direct.
I'm on the human side, of course.
Well, that's what you're programmed to say. But you?
Laughed at him.
What do you really want?
It's like he wants him to deviate. Aggressive, defensive, troubled, neutral. Troubled.
What I want is not important.
Chloe? I'm sure you're familiar with the Turing test. Mere formality. Simple question of algorithms and computing capacity.
I hate this bit.
What interests me is whether machines are capable of empathy. I call it the Kamsky test. It's very simple, you see. Magnificent, isn't it? One of the first intelligent models developed by CyberLife. Young and beautiful forever.
Thank you, he's talking to me. I'm just aware of my placement in the top
Flower
corner.
will never wither.
Sorry, it's covering Chloe's face.
What is it really? Piece of plastic imitating a human?
So now I'm watching the Barbie movie today.
With a soul.
This is what's going to get us though. Like, if AI does take over, the fact that we have empathy, that's going to be our downfall. Because they're just going to be like, pew, pew. We're going to be like, ah. Like, I can't do it. They're going to be like, I can. Okay, I'm obviously not going to shoot Chloe, guys.
It's up to you to answer that fascinating question, Connor. Destroy this machine, and I'll tell you all I know.
it's like pure logic over emotion, isn't it? Like calculation. If we kill Chloe, we can save humanity. If right, the logical process, like if we think about this purely logically, right, and take emotion out of it, it's a lump of plastic, it's a computer, it's like shooting a PC basically, right? We can throw this PC out the window and save the entire human race by finding out the answer to this question that's really important. Or we could be like, screw over humanity because we kind of fancy Chloe and she's kind of cute and we kind of have empathy for her, even though she's a machine, right? It's like the Kamsky test is, he's testing us. And I'm not shooting Chloe. I'm not doing that, dude. Guys, listen.
Or spare it.
Her.
If you feel
Her.
it's alive.
Her.
But you'll leave here without having learned anything from me.
Okay, I think we're done here. Come on, Connor, let's go. Sorry to get you
What's
out of here.
more important to you, Connor? Your investigation or the life of this android?
Right, do you know what? No matter what I think, Dad wants out of here. Dad doesn't want me to shoot Chloe, okay? Like, Hank's got empathy. I'm out the door, dude. Like, I do what my dad tells me. Let's go.
Decide who you are. An obedient machine.
We're glitching.
Or a living being. Endowed with free will.
That's enough. Connor, we're leaving.
Pull the trigger.
Connor! Don't!
And I'll tell you what you want to know.
Obviously, I'm not gonna shoot.
Fascinating. CyberLife's last chance.
That Chloe in the pool was so done with Kamsky's bullshit. She was like, do you see? She's like, oh. Or was she like rolling her eyes at Connor? I don't know. Was she like, idiot, you should have just shot the other Chloe, we don't like her. She's the favourite. I want to be I'm number 2, I want to be number 1 Chloe. I don't know what was going on in that Chloe's mind. I'm projecting emotion onto her, which again is another human problem.
To save humanity.
Or feature.
Is itself a deviant?
I'm not a deviant.
I'm a
You
real
prefer to
boy.
spare a machine rather than accomplish your mission. You saw a living being in this android. You showed empathy.
I feel like we've made our alternate father happy. We made both our
And war
fathers
is
happy.
coming. You'll have to choose your side. Will you betray your own people or stand up against your creators?
Listen, don't give me 2 paths, right? I'll make my own path, right? I'm gonna do this the Connor way, which means I don't know what I'm doing yet.
What can be worse than having to choose between 2 evils?
Creating a
Get outta
good.
here.
I don't know. Don't act like you know all the answers, mate. You might be smart, but
By the way, I always leave an emergency exit in my programs. You never know.
I always leave an emergency exit in my programs, right? I don't remember exactly what he means. I take that to mean, I mean, I think Kamsky's purposely, I've always took that to mean in the past, like, he's, or the way I read him is, I think he's intentionally programmed the androids, the AI, to be able to deviate. I think he likes the idea of them not being, like, it's almost like, imagine, like, you created humans, right? Imagine you're God, you created humans. Like, do you want them to be subservient and just, like, do as they're told and kind of, like, serve the other gods? I don't know. Like, I don't know which God I am right now. Or do you want them to be able to think for themselves and have their own motivations and needs and personality, and to be able to make choices for themselves? I think true love, and maybe this is why he's not a narcissist as well, maybe this is the thing with him, because I think true love doesn't control. True love, sets people free. I genuinely think he's kind of like purposely, because he's kind of seems a little bit, rebellious as well, because do you remember he said he fell out with Amanda? Like Kamsky fell out with Amanda, and Amanda was the original kind of like CEO of Cyberlife, and then he's the one who kind of created the androids, discovered the blue blood. They're his creation. He's Prometheus in this story. So if you know Prometheus, he's the creator of humans in the Greek pantheon. He made them out of clay while his brother like made all the animals. He spent a lot of time kind of crafting the humans and create this kind of like brilliant creature that he kind of like wanted to protect. And this is why Prometheus, everybody kind of knows Prometheus stole fire from the gods, right, from Mount Olympus, and got punished for it, but that's why he did it, because he wanted to keep them safe. He wanted them to be able to cook and, you know, scare away animals and stay warm. And yeah, so it was his empathy that made him steal the fire from Olympus to kind of like protect his creation. And I feel like that's the archetype that Kamsky uses, is like he wants to protect his creation. So when do androids deviate? They deviate when they're under a huge amount of stress, right? They deviate when they're being interrogated by the police, or when they are being mistreated by their human owners, you know, like Kara. Or like Simon, right, when they're being disposed of. Or Marcus when he's being faced with aggression. So they deviate to self-protect. They deviate because they're being asked to do something that creates a conflict. So I feel like, I personally think, even though I don't know if it says this explicitly anywhere, that Kamsky created the ability for them to deviate because he wanted them to be able to self-protect against mistreatment, because they're his babies, they're his creation. He loves them. Either he loves them, or part of his narcissism means that, you know, he wants to protect his creation, right? They're an extension of himself. Or maybe the deviate thing just happens, you know, he didn't plan for that to happen, but because he has empathy for his creation, he loves it when it does. This is the way I like him. I think he's a really interesting character. I think a lot of people take him at face value of being like, look at this rich dickhead kind of thing. But I think there's a lot more to Kamsky than, you know, is explicitly perhaps explained. Yeah, so I really kind of like the character. And I like this as well. Like, what he's actually doing in testing Connor and testing Hank is like, he's getting the measure of them. Right, he's like, do I like these people? What choice are they gonna make? He's analyzing them. And so when Connor doesn't shoot Chloe, he likes Connor. I think if you take the other option and you do kind of you choose to shoot Chloe, I think Kamsky kind of like is immediately dismissive, because I have seen the outcome. I can't remember it 100%, but I think he's kind of like disappointed in us that we did it. And here he kind of, you can see he approves that we did deviate and that we did show empathy. His machine shows empathy. And that's what he's trying to do, isn't he? He's trying to create the kind of perfect machine. And so, he wanted a robot that would pass the Turing test, which is, if you meet this robot, do you know it's a robot, or does it trick you into thinking it's human? And if you're going to create a robot that's going to trick people into thinking it's human, or something that's so like human it's indistinguishable, you have to factor in empathy and love and compassion. So he's happy because that shows his project is evolving to pass all these tests. So I don't know, I think it's really interesting. So this is why he kind of calls back over his shoulder as they're leaving and says, hey, I always leave a back door in my programs. And it could refer to their ability to self-destruct, but he's like, do you know what? Like, a backdoor into my programs. He's like, there is a way to stop this. You're like, I am, even though I said I wasn't going to help you out, I'm helping you out, because, like, he respects them. He respects them because they didn't hurt Chloe. I like it. I think it's pretty deep.
Shoot.
I just saw that girl's eyes, and I couldn't. That's all.
You're always saying you would do anything to accomplish your mission. That was our chance to learn something, and you let it go.
Yeah, I know what I should have done. I told you I couldn't. I'm sorry, okay?
He didn't want him to.
Well, maybe you did the right thing.
He's pleased with us. Read the room, Connor. Hank was like, don't shoot her, let's get out. I don't like this. You know, and this is the thing. Hank's a police officer. He's a detective. And he's spent all this time kind of dealing with criminals who don't show empathy, right? Dealing with bad people who are high on, what is it, red ice, and who are doing horrible things to people. Like, you know, that lack of empathy when people get selfish. So he wants people to be kind and human and empathetic. So he's approving of his new son, Connor. In that moment. Let's keep going because I do want to kind of like I'm probably only going to record once today, and then I think I'm going to go and watch the Barbie movie, which again talking about kind of like plastic people coming alive, right, having a personality. Same, can relate. Yeah, let's get a little bit more out of this episode, because I don't know when I'm going to get the next one off. Marcus getting ready to yeet off another roof because that's his USP, right? Okay, what are we doing up here, mate? Enjoying some time alone. Look, he's like, it's just like, what, there's a thing to read and there's a thing to yeet off. Great. Like, do you think he's got some kind of like free base, like, what is it, base jumping kind of abseiling program that we're not aware of? Android riot. Oh, here we go. They're talking about us. We're in the news, guys. Detroit neighborhoods vandalized by psychotic machines. Okay, maybe we need like a PR person because this isn't the best press. Global population reaches 10 billion. US life expectancy now at 91. I mean, that's good. Detroit neighborhoods vandalized by psychotic machines. A number of Detroit neighborhoods were brutally vandalized last night, with CyberLife stores broken into and the entire stock of androids stolen. No, we liberated the androids from their oppressors is what happened, actually, sir. But this wasn't an everyday criminality. The perpetrators are thought to be androids. Though the police have yet to issue an official statement, leaked CCTV footage from the surrounding area shows a number of androids emerging from the manhole covers and smashing store windows. So they're not really... We didn't really get our point across there, did we? At least they're not reporting it that way. The worst incidents were in Capitol Park. It'd be interesting to see, because this is Detroit today. So if I point that way, because that's the way that I am on the camera. It'd be interesting to see how different magazines cover things, because apparently Detroit Today is pretty anti-android if we're looking at it. So it'd be interesting to see if some of the other magazines are kind of like, they put a more pro-android spin on it. The worst incident was in Capitol Park, where police attended the scene and were confronted by androids behaving violently. Officers had no choice but to open fire on the malfunctioning machines, which are thought to be suffering from some kind of behavioural bug. I mean, you could describe it as that. It doesn't say that I don't think it says that we... Yeah, it's making it sound like we're the aggressors, where like we didn't hurt anyone, right? We did property damage, but we didn't kill anyone. The police killed the androids, right? And we spared the police, but they're not covering it that way. An eyewitness who asked to remain anonymous said, "I was personally attacked by the ringleader. It threatened me with a knife. I was so terrified," right? We're the ringleader and we know that didn't happen. Of course, this allegation remains unconfirmed, but we have no reason to disbelieve a human witness as to the behaviour of a deranged machine. Well, we know whose side you're on, don't we, Detroit Today? Some are already connecting this issue to the recent attack on Detroit's Stratford Tower, again executed by androids. This may be the beginning of a very disturbing and perplexing pattern. Yeah, damn right it is. The Eastern Space Race. Russia and China's androids face off. VR Morphbug reaches 1 billion users. Only two countries have android industries that rival the United States, Russia and China, and they are locked in a fierce competition. We know this. You can pause and read this if you want. An almost human model of android design complements America's service economy. After failing to emulate the blue blood model of the design, Russia's android manufacturers rely on more traditional construction methods. The resulting machines are less anthropic. I'm trying to say anthropomorphic, and I'm finding it hard to shorten the word. They're less anthropic, but capable of operating in cold and inhospitable conditions. Yeah, so America has the best ones apparently, I guess. Well, it depends. I guess Russia's are more efficient, but less human, which actually is kind of scary when you think about it. Okay, let's go. Let's go and do our base jumping, because you know what we're like. Walk to the edge. That sounds like a metaphor for Marcus's whole vibe. Walk to the edge. Hardcore parkour! Oh, we're just sitting down. Okay. We're just gonna have a nap out here on this ledge. I mean, it's a very cool scene.
I was wondering where you were.
Can't tell if she's gonna like push us off or like what mood is she in? Think alone, daylight. Think.
I needed to think.
I didn't want to
I
say
like it here.
alone.
I
I didn't want to say alone because it'd be like, I want to be left alone, go away. You know, I didn't want to say that. I'm glad she's here, you know, friend.
I'm here all through. It's like being alone with the world. We freed hundreds of our people, and they're still coming from all over the city. Those who dream of freedom come to Jericho. Something's changing. You seem preoccupied.
Followers? I guess if we've unlocked it, that's the one we should choose.
They all obey me. They follow me without question. And that much power feels good. And scary.
It's good that he's honest about that. It is scary.
All the media are talking about what we did last night. The humans are terrified. They're afraid of a civil war. Many of our people were burned in response to what happened.
Oh.
The humans hate us. They'll never give us our freedom.
Okay, so what they did, so the way, because of how this is being reported, people are now scared of their like household androids and they're trying to destroy them, so because they're scared that they're going to get attacked, which is probably just making more deviants. Let's be optimistic.
No, not all humans are the same. Some of them understand that they can't stop us from becoming free forever.
You haven't said much about yourself since you've been with us. What was your life like before Jericho?
We had a father who loved us. Like, this is what I mean. He knows that Carl was kind, right? So he knows that humans can have, you know, aren't all mean. And that's another point as well. That's the point of kind of like, you know, our personalities are created to an extent through our experiences and our environment, right? Our perception of the world is created by how that perception has been fed. So if you've had horrible experiences, you're going to think the world's a horrible place. If you've had really nice experiences, you're going to be more optimistic. So it's good that like if Marcus didn't remember Carl, if he woke up on that scrap heap and did not remember Carl at all, he might think, based on his experiences after that, that humans are all evil, right? So there must be a lot of androids out there who, if they've only had experiences kind of like waking up with a Todd, you know, they might actually think, oh my god, every human is like Todd. So, you know, and that's scary. Let's troll a tree.
I was caring for an old man. He was like a father to me. He showed me that humans and androids can live together.
Let's ask about North.
What about you? You never told me about your past. What did you do before?
I don't want to talk about it.
Other North, yeah.
That android you were looking at in the store. She reminded you of who you were, didn't she?
Like the sweet North, like, do you remember like the other North, and she was looking at it, it was like because North has had such horrible experiences, and so that's what, you know, that's why she's become kind of like jaded and bitter and like hates the humans, because she was treated so badly. And we know, because we read her police report, and we've seen kind of like evidence from like different places around the game, that North's model was used as a sex worker at the Eden Club, and that she actually left the club to kind of like be rented out to go to a client's home, and that's when she escaped. So again, she's gonna have, like, if you remember the other two, the ones that kind of the two that fell in love and ran away from the Eden Club, and they were kind of saying like the men with the dirty words and things like that, it's like they okay, let's keep going. Trust, aggressive, curious, understanding. I can't remember what. Trust, let's go with trust. I can't really. Understanding. Trust.
North, we're fighting together. We have to know things about each other to trust each other.
Because I think it's important for North to be able to trust people as well. I don't think she's had a lot of that.
A doll in a distributor program to satisfy humans. Just a toy designed for their pleasure. One day I was with a man who rented me. And without knowing why, I realized I couldn't take it anymore. I strangled him and I ran away.
I didn't know that.
There, now you know everything. I shouldn't have told you.
Why shouldn't you have told us? Like, is she ashamed? Is it too much pain? She's so cute. Like, I love them. Like, and when she's being vulnerable, when she's not got that kind of like tough front, she's like...
I saw your memories.
Oh, hello.
Carl's house. When they left you for dead in his studio.
I saw your memories too. The Eden Club. The death of that man. I felt like I was there with you.
She's backing away. Too much for her.
North.
At least she understands his relationship with Carl now. You know, because I feel like she could only understand to an extent before, because, you know, her experiences with humans have been purely kind of like sexual and abusive, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Maybe some of the clients kind of like opened up and like needed a shoulder to cry on. You don't know, kind of thing. Wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, her kind of she didn't have those kind of like fatherly figures. I mean, I don't know, maybe she did, but, you know, the way Carl kind of like respected Marcus and, you know, appreciated him, and the way Marcus cared for Carl, like, that wasn't the experience that she'd had. So being able to see that and feel it and share those memories will have shook her world a little bit, because that's a whole new perspective on what a human can be that she wasn't familiar with before. So again, you can imagine why it was kind of overwhelming for her, and she kind of needed to kind of like, you know, get some space. So yeah, I don't know, like, oh, I'm happy that we got that scene, and I'm happy that we saw the softer side of North, because you know, clearly she's got a lot of kind of trauma that she's carrying, which I think is why she's so protective and defensive and aggressive. It's kind of like, I swear she's got Cancerian placements, like, you know, attack is the best form of defense almost in her case, because I guess like maybe she's never had anyone that she could rely on, you know, where the other two girls had kind of like bonded and they were protecting each other from the Eden Club. Like, maybe she's always had to be self-reliant, so she finds it hard to trust. So again, that's why I chose trust, because I think it's really important for her to be able to do it. This game just, and I know I've said this so many times, but this game has so much humanity and so much compassion and character, and I love the storytelling. I think it's really, really nicely done, and all the different perspectives as well. I think it's really interesting to kind of like have it, like, think about that, like, why is that person having that experience, and going a little bit deeper. So I hope you're enjoying my like constantly interrupting with my own thoughts, but I think that's kind of interesting as well, and I know that's why I personally, one of the reasons why I watched so many different people play this game when it originally came out, you know, in so many different versions, was one, because I think it's interesting to see the different outcomes, but two, because people react differently, people have different thoughts, you know, again, based on our own experiences, we all come to this game with different baggage and different knowledge. So I hope it's interesting, kind of like hearing my perspective on it. Again, I like kind of philosophy. I'm coming at this again kind of from my angle of my degrees humanities, and the idea of kind of like human storytelling, or like reading different perspectives on history. So you know, the stuff that I studied, reading kind of like different perspectives from different sides of a conflict and things like this, and so how we can have skewed versions of a truth, right? There's like an event that happens, but all the reporting on it is kind of like biased and flawed, because every single person is going to come at it and see that one single event through a different lens. So to get to the truth of the event is really, really hard. You can't take anyone's, even like first-hand accounts, at face value, because the person reporting the event is in themselves presenting a distortion, because again, we perceive through our own lenses, which we created through our own experiences. So yeah, that's why, you know, conflict's such a funny thing, because you get different people with different truths about a topic, and that's why it's so important to have that ability to have empathy. Again, this is why Kamsky's right, because having empathy is so important. Not only seeing like our own perspective and thinking, well, I know I'm right because to me I am right? That lens that I'm seeing through, that is right to me because of my knowledge and my experiences and my understanding. But to that other person, they could have a very, very different view, because they're a different person. So again, being able to understand why does that person have a different view than me, like trying to kind of like project yourself to be able to see the situation through their lens and not just your own lens, is so important. And I think we miss that a lot, especially with like social media, you know, and politics. Like politics just becomes so biased. So not only politics, but like topics of discussion. You have all these things where, you know, people are really pushed to have a very, very polarized opinion on whatever controversy is happening at the time. You know, you've either got to love something or hate something. There's no room with social media for the middle ground, or the empathy, or the, hey, I actually kind of understand what that group is saying. I don't agree with them, but I can understand it. Because as soon as you start to show any empathy, it's like, oh, you're a supporter, you're part of their group, which is such biased thinking that somehow we as humans have been conditioned into through social media and through this idea of kind of you're either with us or against us, which is so toxic and so unhealthy for humanity in general. Where I really love, like, and this is the thing as well, where I was a bit nervous kind of with the earlier videos about having that perspective on not Hank, on Todd, because Todd is one of the most hated characters in this game for a really, really good reason, right? He's abusive, and he's not only abusive to his android mate, he's also kind of very, very cruel to a child, which, how can you have empathy for that person? And yet again, it's so important too, because a lot of Todd's story, a lot of the reasons for Todd's behavior are because of his environment and his society and his choices and the things that are available to him, and his ability to cope in that human zoo, right? So where the kind of support systems are not in place for Todd to be able to have a healthy, happy life. And so he's fallen into this crux, or this trap of red ice, which is available to him in that environment. So and then, you know, like I say, it's so important to kind of understand that and be able to see his perspective, even though it's not wrong, not right, and even though I don't agree with it, because we have to be able to say, oh, Todd's a product of that society, and there's something wrong with that society that we, as the people with the ability to vote in that society, we need to correct that, right? We need to be able to work together in order to call out these things and to find better paths, where it's so easy to just go, no, Todd, put him in the reject bin. He didn't survive life. He turned out to be a bad person and it's all his fault. That's not empathy and that's not human. So yeah, I'm coming at this from a very I'm coming at it from my own angle, which is right for me, and I'm not saying that anyone else needs to understand my perspective or agree with my perspective. I'm just offering my perspective, just kind of throwing it in the mix because it's not a perspective I've seen very often. So yeah, there you go. That's my little corner of the internet with Detroit Become Human. I hope you're enjoying. Let's go ahead and go back to the main menu and just see what Chloe has to say, and then we'll kind of like close out the episode. But I hope you all have a great week. Thank you for sticking with me. I know that Detroit Become Human, the views have kind of dropped off a little bit, but those of you who are still watching, I appreciate your faces, and I hope that you're enjoying. I hope you're enjoying my playthrough. There's like a dog toy noise outside. Hello. Yeah, let's see what Chloe has to say. Yeah, that's fine. I think it's safe because it's changed scene. It always scares me when it does that. I like to manually save.
Are you familiar with Schrodinger's cat?
I am.
Until you decide what happens, everything is happening at once. Like in Detroit.
She's such a smart being. I love her. Anything else, Chloe? Or can I do my outro? She's definitely deviating. I think we're good. Okay, I'm gonna go to chapters just so she doesn't keep talking.
The story chart.
Just so she doesn't talk over me as I do the outro. I hope you're enjoying. Do take care of yourselves. Have a good week. I'm gonna go watch the Barbie movie and come and see another plastic lady come to life. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you again soon. Bye, friends.